Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast. We have an amazing guest for you today. He's a seasoned mortgage industry veteran. He is an Instagram whiz. He is an industry thought leader. He's a trailblazer at bringing the mortgage community together. Please help me welcome Rick Guerrero. He's executive board member of the Mortgage Bankers Association of Georgia, president of the AMBA, and Director of Sales at US Mortgage. Rick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. That's quite the introduction there. I was for a second I was confused that you're introducing somebody else. I forget all the things I'm involved with.
Well, it is true. You're involved, very heavily involved in financial services, in real estate, in the mortgage industry. You bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise. So I'm very glad you could join us. So for our listeners who maybe don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got in financial services and the mortgage industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the short version of it is after college, during college in high school, I worked for a clothing store, worked there, graduated college. They relocated me to New Orleans, Louisiana, met a girl, relocated to Atlanta. And at that time, I couldn't find a job. Like nobody would hire me. So I decided to open up my own business that's very heavily focused on referral based in a city where I didn't know a single person or had ever been. So I
Okay.
opened up a state farm insurance agency, ran it for 3 years, and the core of my business came from loan officer referrals. I marketed myself as the guy that can get an insurance policy for a home. I'm within an hour or so. I marketed myself. I'm available 24/7. Just shoot me requests and I'll get that deck page for you. Well, after a while, I was visiting mortgage offices every week, and managers would ask me to come in and speak to their LOs about how to prospect. And then managers would ask me, who do I work with? It's a great LO. And I kind of became, in my mind, I was just connecting people, but I
Okay.
became like an unofficial recruiter by accident. So I had a few mortgage companies, make me some offers to get me to come on board and work with them in a leadership role. And finally, one came through that sounded like a great opportunity, joined them, learned the business, and then learned what I wanted to do and how I wanted to run my team and my business. So I started with my partner. We started this team at US Mortgage about going on 9 years, and we've been here ever since.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to dive into that knowledge and expertise. I just got back from the ICE Technology Conference. One of the
Mm,
themes or one of the buzzes that everyone was talking about was the NAR settlement.
yes.
Since you have so much experience on the mortgage and on the real estate side, give me a little bit of your perspective on the NAR settlement. How do you think it's going to impact loan officers, or will it impact loan officers?
So I think it's definitely going to impact everybody within our industry. I've read a lot on it. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've tuned in a lot on it, and it seems like obviously they're going to do away with or possibly do away with paying commission to the buyer's agents, right? And in my perspective, the buyer's agents are extremely valuable, very much needed. I've bought in several properties. There's no way I could have done it without a buyer's agent, and I'm in the industry. There's just too much that needs to be done from the buyer's agent, right?
Right.
So I think from my perspective of this settlement, like I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what's going to be approved because my understanding is that the Department of Justice still needs to approve it. It hasn't been approved by a judge yet, the settlement, correct?
Okay, I believe
Yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take your
Yeah,
word for it.
that's my understanding. So, in that sense, whatever happens, I feel this is an opportunity to improve ourselves. I feel this is an opportunity to showcase our value. Why are buyers agents being attacked and drawn down? Because the consumer doesn't understand their value, or whatever, the listing agent. And same goes for the loan officer. I feel that over the past couple of years, business has been so heavy. It's been like a fire hose business coming to you that we forgot how to showcase our value and talk about what makes us unique and what makes us different and why people should be working with us. So for realtors, I would say same thing I'd say to loan officers. Right now, more than ever, we need to showcase our value. Why are you worth your money? Why are you worth it? And we have to, and, one of the things that I'm a big advocate about is showcasing your value and showcasing your skill set through videos. I feel like that's the best vertical to do it in today's environment, right? Like in today's world, it's very different than what it was 20, 30 years ago, where you and I once got our information from the nightly news and the newspaper. We now get it from social media.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad you brought up video because that's where I wanted to go next. In the intro, I said you're an Instagram whiz, but really, you understand the power of video. Talk to me about how you convince loan officers to really start embracing video. A lot of people are hesitant. I don't want to get on. I don't look the way I want to look. I sound funny. I don't have the equipment. Help me bust through some of those objections and really state the business case for why loan officers and realtors, for that matter, need to be on video and need to be getting in front of people.
Well, in my perspective, there's so many different components here. Yes, your loan officer doesn't like the way they look, but I think also most importantly, probably the biggest factor is that instant gratification, right? Like you and I could spend a day and not get anybody respond to us. So
Yep.
we give up, we quit. They need to understand that it's not an instant gratification. Like it takes time. You're planting seeds. You got to cultivate those seeds. So, in my perspective, is you don't have to do video. That's cool. Do you? But what is you gonna be? If you're gonna go cold call and prospect, that's fine. Do it, but do it. Don't just do it for a day and quit. And what I find is that for me, engaging through social media yields a higher return than prospecting by cold calling, than going to networking events. So I've done it all. When I first started here at this team, I had no business. So I spent 8 a.m. to about 11 a.m. cold calling. Then I do lunch appointments. Then I go to networking events. Like I hustle my butt off. Well, with the internet, I can message 20 different realtors in 5 minutes.
Right.
Like I can get I was in a Facebook group last night and one of the comments was, I can't get realtors to answer their phone. I keep going to their voicemail. And my thought was, well, that's an easy solution. Just direct message them.
Right. Well, and I love how you talk about because I think one of the powerful aspects of video is your personality, your passion, your energy can come through that it can't necessarily come through in a text message or in an email or anything like that. What are some of your tips for people to get started in video?
So be yourself. You mentioned the way you phrase that, we're all kind of, we're scared of what we look like. We don't know what to say. You and I could say the same exact message, but it's different because it's your delivery versus my delivery, and we have a different perspective on it. There is no new content out there. It's all recycled. So a lot of times, like there's people I follow, you being one of them, I might see you post something that I love. I might just copy it, but tweak it in my own words and deliver it from my perspective. And that's what I would encourage people to do. If you don't know what to say, that's fine. Find people that motivate you and you follow and just copy what they do, but in your own words. Like that's step one. But my strategy is have 5 pillars that you do videos on. So social media, specifically Instagram, should be a window into you, into who you are. So realtors or loan officers or whoever you want to do business with, they can get an idea of who you are. So I post my 5 pillars are, of course, real estate, mortgage, giving advice to realtors. I talk about leadership. I talk about the outdoors. I'm a big outdoors. I talk about fitness and wellness. I'm very big into fitness and wellness and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and eating right. And then I talk about my family. And those are the 5 pillars of who I am. So I post that stuff. I have some people in my audience that could care less about my fitness activities, but I have some people in my audience that could care less about my real estate activities, right? Like it
Right.
is what it is. But to me, the goal is so you leverage social media as a big networking event. As a big, if you go to a networking event, you want to work the room and you want to connect yourself with people you want to work with. Well, leverage social media, Instagram in that same way, but use your profile to showcase who you are so it'll best help you connect with others.
Well, and we know people buy from people they know, they like, and they trust. And I think one of the powerful things with video and with social media is you've got to open up that door to your house so people understand who you are, what you're about. They don't want to just hear you talk about real estate every post, but when they see that you're a family man, when they see that fitness is important and you're doing stuff with your kids and you're outdoors, then you're now much more relatable. And what I
Yep.
find is you start then attracting like-minded people. Hey, I really like how Rick talked about this. That's what's important. A lot of people say, well, my personal life is my personal life. Well, if you don't share any of your personal stuff, people will never get to know you. Now, you don't have to share private, right? There's certain private things that you're never going to want to share, then don't share them. But if you don't open up who you are as a person and people can't see the books behind you and the different things that are important, they're never going to engage with you. So I think you offer some great tips, and you've done a fantastic job of putting yourself out there, building momentum. Talk to me about how you engage with realtors, how you engage with branch managers so that you help build them up and get more comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah, so basically I do all the posting so that people know I'm a real person. I'm not a bot or they can get a better idea who I am. And that makes it easier for when I reach out to realtors or I reach out to loan officers. So what I'll start with, let's say, Michael, you're a realtor that I want to connect with, you're a top producer. If I call you or direct message you, it's unlikely you're going to respond. So what I
Right.
do is I comment on your reels. I comment on your stories. I give you love and attention. I, tell you congratulations on selling that home. Awesome job working with that family. Beautiful listing. Oh, is that your son or daughter? Adorable. And I am commenting on you, and I'm just trying to find a spark. So after a while, I found that if I comment and like and engage with your post long enough, maybe a week, maybe 2 days, maybe a month, you'll start engaging back because
Yep.
you appreciate somebody giving you love and attention.
Well, and I think that engagement is an area that so many people just fail at miserably. They're like, okay, Michael, you told me to do videos. I started doing videos, I'm posting, and nothing's happening. And the first question I always ask is, well, how many people's content did you engage with? Phone call gets very quiet.
Yep.
It's kind of dead silent. I'm like, well, why would you expect people to engage with your stuff if you're not engaging with theirs?
Others. Yep.
Yep. So
I have a
you're a lot of
principle.
great tips.
If I want to get 100 likes on my post, well, then that day I need to be giving 200 likes to others. So I try to double what I expect for myself. So, and I think that's very helpful because in the beginning, I wanted all these likes. I wanted all these comments on my stuff. And that was my focus. I'm going to put good content out there and get a lot of engagement. But then when I shifted my perspective to I need to engage with others twice of what I expect, now it's like, okay, I need to engage with more and more and more. And my focus is now more engaging. And I can give a shit. I could care less how many
Right.
people engage back with me.
Because you're putting yourself out there and you're really taking a vested interest in other people. What an incredible tip. Talk to me. What are loan officers looking for in a lender partner? I mean, one of the things that you do such an incredible job of is your ability to network and find out. Not all loan officers love the current company they're with. They're looking, what should they be looking for in a company, and how do you articulate that to them?
So I believe that what they should be looking for, so what they should be looking for, what they are looking for could be two different things. I think right now, as I talk to many loan officers, everyone's a little bit different, but one of the things I get often is they're looking for a mix of products. They're looking for a mix of products because they struggle to showcase their value and get relationships based on the core products. So they're looking for these niche products that are so rare and they might get one deal every 6 months, but they feel they need it. That's somebody else I speak with. Others, they feel that they're giving up too much money to the company and they're looking to get a larger share to themselves, right? That's another group of people I spoke with. In my perspective, I feel that to be successful in this environment, you need to work with other people that work just as hard as you, care about your success, and are vested in your success and growth. So I feel that in order to be successful in this industry, you should align yourself with people that are vested in your development and growth that want. So what I do is I go out to appointments with my loan officers. I go make calls with my loan officers. I meet realtors with my loan officers. I'm very, very vested in their development and growth and do everything I can to be there with them, not just tell them, go out and prospect. I
Right.
show up with them in the prospecting, but I also, if I can't show up, I provide them detailed scripts. One of the other things I get from feedback is that realtors are afraid to prospect because they don't know what to say. They're afraid of getting rejected. Well, cool. I'll go with you. You don't got to be afraid to get rejected because I don't mind being rejected. I've been
Right.
rejected all my life. Been rejected by girls when I was in high school. Been rejected. The rejection never stops.
Yes, I love it. And that's a perfect lead into the importance of coaching and mentoring. Talk to me a
Yep.
little bit about your view on coaching and mentoring and why that's so important if people want to continue to grow.
So I feel that coaching and mentoring is essential. If you look at any high level athlete or individual, they all have a coach. Michael
Right.
Jordan had a strength conditioning coach, Tim Grover, which you see his book back there in the red. Um, I've had several coaches through my career. I currently have 5 coaches right now in different aspects of my life. But from all my coaches, I learn something. They bring me good content. They bring me skills that help level me up. As a matter of fact, Michael, I'm about to show you this that I have now that I got from one of my coaches in the past is a cheat sheet on how to use ChatGPT.
Oh, there you
You can
go.
see from Mr. Michael Hammond. So, um, you know, it's also important to me to have a coach or mentor that challenges you and pushes you. We're
Right.
all human. We all get comfortable. We all get complacent. We get rejected and we get down on ourselves. That coach is a great person to lift you up and continue to push you to strive towards your goals.
I love it. Talk to me a little bit, Rick. As loan officers, they're also looking at who's got technology. What's technology's role in the loan officer in being able to prospect, in how they find the company that they're looking for? Talk to me a little bit about, from a technology perspective, why working with a company that can deliver a lot of the tools that they need instead of them going it alone is such a valuable aspect.
So that's a great question. I love technology. I'm a technology junkie myself. I'm always looking for the newest gadget or leveraging the newest tech to get more done. Uh, like those loan officers that are being pitched by these companies that have this awesome technology. My question would be is like define awesome technology. Like what specifically do they have? Because at the end of the day, we're all using the same LOS software to do loans. Now there are a few apps out there that can take application that are, better or good, better than others, whatever. But the technology is only going to be as good as the person that uses it. And I feel in our industry, like that's probably the biggest gap is that the loan officers aren't using the technology currently at their fingertips. And in my perspective, I feel that's because their leaders aren't really, I want to say holding their hand,
But aren't really
guiding them.
educating them.
Yeah,
There's such a gap, to your point of people have all this technology at their fingertips, but a lot of them don't know how to use it. I mean, just think of cell phones. Everyone's got this incredible cell phone, and most people use less than 50% of what the cell phone could actually do for them.
yeah.
And think about their POS and their LOS and their CRM. That I think if the leaders don't embrace technology and show their teams on how to use it, there's usually a big disconnect, and you're just spending a lot of money and getting very little back.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel if your leader's telling you, go, and we'll go back to the social media example, go on social media and meet with realtors through that. But their leaders aren't doing it themselves. So if their leaders aren't doing it themselves, how can the LO buy in that that's a viable option, right? So that's where, to me, I feel it's essential to lead by example. And anything that I ask my LOs to do or showcase, I want to make sure that it works. I want to make sure that there is a potential return in whatever I recommend.
So, Rick, tell me a little bit. We're winding down. Tell me a little bit about US Mortgage Corp. What are some of the things that you think make you guys different? And then also add, what's the best way somebody can get a hold of you if they want to find out more, if they want to talk, whether it's Instagram tips and videos, or if they want to find out about US Mortgage? Talk to me a little bit about that and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so you can reach me. My cell phone number, 713-828-1161, or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I try to check my messages daily. What makes US Mortgage or Corporation unique or different? Uh, Again, honest feedback. We're all mortgage companies. There is no, in my opinion, major difference between a mortgage company. We're all the same thing. We all do loans. We all focus on closing on time. We all focus on being competitive rates. I think the biggest difference with my team is our leadership. Myself, I don't originate. My full focus is supporting the loan officers, but I also have 3 branch managers that sit in the office that are there to help our loan officers with structuring loans, with answering questions, because you can be as experienced as, 20 years in this business. The industry is constantly changing, evolving. Guidelines are changing and evolving. It's hard for a loan officer to stay on top of everything. So I have managers that are non-originating that their job is to stay on top of everything. And their job is to review files, push files, and make sure that we're supporting the loan officers. They can just go out there and get their own business. So that's what makes us unique. And for our loan officers, that's fantastic. What makes us unique may not be a great fit for everybody, but we found that this has been a model that all the LOs of my team, I rarely lose anybody. We've had people here for going on 9 years, which is a rarity in our industry. And most loan
It
officers
is.
bounce every year.
I think it's that culture that you create. And I think more importantly, when you're in the trenches with them,
Yes.
showing them how to do outreach, showing them how to connect with realtors, and you're using the tools that you're asking them to use, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, the different video tools. Rick, you have a wealth of knowledge and expertise. We could continue to go on and on. You are welcome back anytime.
Oh,
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and insights on this episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast.